نجدد الحمد لله ونثني بالصلاة على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. أما بعد أحبتي في الله. My dear brothers and sisters, the verses of virtue are gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if we want to focus on the Quran, after the part that's obligatory were Surah Al-Fatiha and few short surahs that required for your prayer, and especially Surah Al-Fatiha. After that part, if we want to focus, you should focus on those surahs and verses that the Prophet ﷺ recommended, as has a special reward and has a khasiyah, has a speciality where connected with the meaning of the verse and connected with a special reward. So inshallah, we continue with that, and that's the purpose of this. Slowly you'll be connected with those verses that Prophet recommended. One of those, the last two verses of Surah Al-Baqarah. The last two verses of Surah Al-Baqarah, it's enough that the Prophet ﷺ said about them, من قرأهما في ليلة كفتاه. من قرأ بالآيتين من أواخر سورة البقرة في ليلة كفتاه. وهذا الحديث مروي عن أبي مسعود الأنصاري رضي الله تعالى عنه. And this hadith is authentic. There are many other hadiths that Rasulullah spoke about the virtue of this surah, these ayat, and we're not going to go to talk about all of that. It's enough for us, this hadith. So whoever recited the last two verses of Surah Al-Baqarah in one night, it will be suffice for him. And if you notice, Rasulullah said in the night, and he said suffice, but he didn't tell us suffice from what? المتعلق بالكفاية لم يذكر. And that's why the scholars gave their insight. Some of them said كفتاه عن قيام الليل. It's enough for him, whoever will recite in the night prayers. And it will be enough for him to be granted the reward of the night. And some of them, they said it suffice for him for the reward that will be recite the Quran in the night. And some of the scholars said it suffice for him as a means of protection. And especially when he said in the night. And most of the shurur and fitan and shayateen at the night. Which the night starts from the sunset. And it's better to delay before bed. And this not from the adhkar of sabah al-masa, but of course part of the adhkar of the night before going to bed. So it will protect you from all of that evil, from ins and jinn that might bother you, or the things that you are seeking the refuge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you from it. So whatever evil, whatever problems, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect you from it. And if you notice that Surah Al-Baqarah itself is a protection, as many hadith mention about that. Hadith al-Ghamamatayn, the two clouds. Hadith that whatever recited in a home, that shaitan will never enter. So there's a protection in Surah Al-Fatiha. And this protection within the protection. So this is even more protection for this. So there are many explanation when the Prophet said kafatah. And Imam al-Nawawi, he said, it's all of that. It's all of that. وَمَا ذَلِكَ عَلَى اللَّهِ بِعَزِيزٍ فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَظِيمٌ وَعَمِيمٌ. So it will protect you from all of these, bi'idhnillahi subhanahu wa ta'ala, and will be granted the reward of the night, will be enough for you, like, as seeking protection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And why is that? These surahs talk about the Tawheed, which include the most of the articles of Tawheed, as mentioned in Hadith Jibreel. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون كل آمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله لا نفرق بين أحد من رسله وقالوا سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير. So إليك المصير, it's that the day of judgment. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about the destiny indirectly in the next verse. So all of this article of faith mentioned in the last two verses. So it's kind of a renewing your iman before you go into bed. And also it shows the virtue of this ummah. And how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the takalif for them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opened the doors of forgiveness for us. So this surah will renew as well your relation with the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you see the beauty in it. So actually it's giving you the hope and giving you encouragement to do more. And there's a declaration of that you are declaring that you are the slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying سمعنا وأطعنا. And what is the reason behind this revelation of this surah? By the way, not necessarily every verse there is a story behind it. But these stories, yes, has a story behind it. As mentioned in Sahih al-Imam Muslim, that when the verses that previously mentioned, لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وإن تبدوا ما في أنفسكم وتخفوه يحاسبكم به الله, it came heavy for the Sahaba to comprehend that and to welcome that with an open heart. Because it's not easy for them when Allah will say to them, وَإِن تُبْدُوا مَا فِي أَنفُسِكُمْ وَتُخْفُوهُ يُحَاسِبْكُم بِهِ اللَّهُ. So whatever you appear, that's fine, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will question you about. But what you hide in your heart, that will be heavy. It's not that easy. They couldn't really take it easy. So the Prophet told them, you should say, سَمِعْنَا وَأَطَعْنَا وَسَلَّمْنَا. You should say, we heard, we obey, we accepted. And because if they said that from the heart, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala eased the command for them, and Allah revealed those verses. In the term, if I want to use the term of usul al-fiqh, the first ayah, according to many scholars, are mansukha. And this one, the nasikha. So the first one is abrogated, and the following one, which this one, Aman al-Rasul, and then La yukallifullahu nafsan, that's the one came after to declare the first one was abrogated. ما هو النسخ؟ هو بيان انتهاء حكم شرعي بطريق شرعي آخر متراخٍ عنه. النسخ, that means to declare that's an end of a Islamic rule by an Islamic ruling that comes after. So the first one came, and then the second one came after that, to make a clear declaration that you don't have to worry. Allah only will hold you responsible for what in your ability. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. And that's the reason of that. So in these two ayat, there are the sign of taslim. See, you need iman, yes? But you need, beside the iman, you need the taslim. وَمَا زَادَهُمْ إِلَّا إِيمَانًا وَتَسْلِيمًا. And taslim, that will cover the part that's unseen, the part that you cannot comprehend, the part it does not click your mind, and it's hard for you to find the clear wisdom behind it. But because of the high taslim, that means you accept it fully. So not only just accept it because that's just, you have the iman, you accept it because iman and taslim. And actually, whenever there's a shortage of iman, and taslim comes to make that balance. So you need the taslim, the submission, which that's the core of iman. Sometimes you accept the ruling, that's fine, I accept it, I'll follow the rules. But your heart is still questioning that. When you have taslim, you will have no question in your heart. And subhanallah, because of the area of taslim, not that easy, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows us ayat and miracles and evidence, at least will increase the iman, and the moment that the taslim will be less. At the time Sahaba, their level of taslim is very, huge, you can say. Because what we see nowadays from the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and miracles that prove to us that this is true, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about many matters, that's actually amazing. There are many things that we have explanation for it that Sahaba they don't have, yes? And that's a rahmah for us, because we didn't have that much taslim. But for them it does not matter. They accept it regardless, because beside their iman, they have the taslim. So these ayat, declaration of the iman and the taslim. And at the same time, that shows your humbleness before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and declare that your shortcoming, and declare the need of Him, and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgiveness. رَبَّنَا لَا تُؤَاخِذْنَا إِن نَسِينَا وَأَخْطَأْنَا. In the hadith, there's a hadith that said قَدْ فَعَلْتَ. When you say the second one, رَبَّنَا وَلَا تَحْمِلْ عَلَيْنَا كَمَا حَمَلْتَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِن قَبْلِنَا. The hadith will say قَدْ فَعَلْتَ رَبَّنَا وَلَا تُحَمِّلْنَا مَا لَا طَاقَةَ لَنَا بِهِ وَاعْفُ عَنَّا وَاغْفِرْ لَنَا وَارْحَمْنَا. The hadith will say قَدْ فَعَلْتَ. So when you recite those ones, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in response to your dua, He said, I did. So that will be granted for you. One of the great things that you make it as a habit and teach it, to your children, it's really important as a way of protection. You worry about them, you be lost. You worry that they have a bad friend, and the next day in the school that might poison their mind and hearts. You worry about the hasad and ayn and sihr. You worry about many things, yes? These are a great protection. You're looking for protections? As Rasulullah mentioned that clearly. And I would say, من قرأهما في ليلة كفتاه, according to your desire and need, what you are looking for, what you are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect you from, what you're asking that to be satisfied from, that will be in your heart while you're reciting this. So inshallah, that will be granted for you. So while you are reciting those ayat, think of the things that you're looking for. Beside the reward of the night, the reward of the Quran, what things that you're asking that Allah will protect you from. So you inshallah asking that one, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant it that for you. So it's really beautiful ayat that we need to recite it more often, at least once at night, as recommended by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. اللهم علمنا ما جهلنا وذكرنا ما نسينا وفقهنا في ديننا واجعلنا من عبادك الصالحين. اللهم نسألك العفو والعافية والمعافاة الدائمة في الدين والدنيا والآخرة. آمين.